from Sri Lanka. I'm representing Consumer Action Forum, which I founded with 12 persons with psychosocial disabilities, because we wanted everyone who are with psychosocial disabilities to come out and be in the development process as positive contributors. This happened in 2004 when some of us, like about 50 of us, getting together and started working in livelihoods, helping others, and we thought that why can't we expand this approach. So it was actually, I have to give credit to Basic Needs because they gave us the opportunity, and where I was the country program manager at that time. So we were, of course, have a community mental health program, and then there was livelihood program, there was also a research program, and where user-led research started, because we were given the opportunity to design the projects from the community level. And today there's no Basic Needs in Sri Lanka, and it is actually the Consumer Action Forum, the CAF, is doing all that thing in a small villages, getting others involved. So in our approach is a bit different to them, because we have very little resources in our country and also for us. So what we have done is, we thought we could, number one, get persons with psychosocial disability to come out from the community, from their homes, and be engaged in our activities first. So for instance, like we go to these, because in Sri Lanka now there's a community level clinics done by the government, mental health professionals. So it is happening in the rural hospitals, it's happening in the district hospitals. So some of our leaders will go there during the clinic time, and then they have kind of recreational activities. They sing songs, then they explain about our organization, then ask people to join. So in particular villages like that, we have formed little groups, we call it peer support groups, and also to support them, we also have a community volunteer groups. So all of them getting together and design for a particular village a plan. When designing the plan, we do kind of a community consultation workshops, and we invite other stakeholders also to participate. It is like we ask the women's societies, we ask youth clubs, we ask children's societies, elder societies to come for that workshop along with us. And also we invite government stakeholders, service providers mainly, like the economic development officers, counseling officers, social service officers. We invite them because in Sri Lanka there's a structure like a divisional secretariat has field officers of the government working in the community. So we invite them to come and join us. So there, like two things we do. Through we share our lived experience, but as a human library we call it. Human library is something like, if you go to a library, you read a book. So you select a book, then you read that book. But this particular library, there's also books available. That is actually 5 or 6 of us who have stories to share. It is basically about how we have been got these first instances of our mental health conditions, and then how the society has actually contributed to that for us to become psychosocially disabled, and also how we overcome it and how we are contributing to the society. So that whole story we explain, and people question us. We call ourselves human books. What is unique in the human book is that if you read a book, you only read the book, but in here you can question the book. So people ask questions, learn about this, and we have noticed that they have developed some kind of a confidence on persons with psychosocial disability because of that. Of course, then in the plenary, like they will come and ask, how can we work with these people? We're a bit scared, there are a lot of myths, so those things will be clarified as well. And we also want these groups to also reflect on our stories and see positives as well as negative things. There we don't stop. By that time it is our lunch time, so we have lunch, and then after the lunch we get together and form a kind of a development plan for that community, including persons with psychosocial disability. So they are the government teams together. They put their they also work out what are the problems, and then they put what are the solutions. Same way, women's group, and then youth groups, then persons with psychosocial disability as a group, as well as their family members. So in different homogeneous groups, they will come up with different problems and then solutions. So we integrate them, and then we finalize kind of a little plan where the community can support persons with psychosocial disability, number one, to live independently, secondly, to become like a productive contributors to the community. So their livelihood plans, so they, like the government people will say, if somebody needs, that family needs some conflict, if there are conflicts, so how to sort out conflicts, how can the counseling officer can be engaged, and how the volunteers can help them to get it informed when something happens in the community. Then the economic development officers or small enterprise officers will be thinking about how their economic benefits can be, how can they include in their economic programs. So that is, we call it like a multi-stakeholder approach. But we found this human library is a very strong tool that you can convince people to include persons with disability. Because we are talking about, these are the people who are actually successful in their life, living independently, not only living independently and also supporting others. Sometimes looking after their family as breadwinners, sometimes looking after their old parents. So these stories have been shared at the Human Library. So it gives, at the end, it gives some kind of a thinking, changing of attitude, that many of the stakeholders come forward to be with us, work with us, include us. So that is one of the models that Consumer Action Forum has developed. And we think, even though we do it, it's in smaller areas in the whole country, because we cannot expand to so many. I mean, there are lots of villages where there are lots of persons with psychosocial disabilities inside the houses. So we are sharing this message, and what the other side, we also still have people who are being inside the institutions because the families are not taking the responsibility or also believing that they can live an independent life. And for that we use the forum theatre to engage and do it for a wider audiences where the people can take the message. At the same time, I think, because we are doing it at community level, whatever we can do, but I think what we really need is the responsible authorities to take, to address this big issue of institutionalization, and to work with us to make all the people who are being, stranded in these institutions to come and live an independent life and a happy life until the day that they die. Thank you.